Hello, I'm Angie, and welcome to my podcast, Chaotic Harmony. So, last Saturday in Wisconsin, where I'm from, we had some beautiful weather. Beautiful. You just had to take advantage of it because around here, you don't get days like that all the time. So, my husband and I, we took a ride in our Jeep with a partial roof off. And so I could say we were half topless. And then we wound down the evening when we decided to have a few drinks in our yard. So we stopped at a gas station, and I hate beer. I cannot handle beer. Ugh. So I decided to get myself a cheap a 4 pack of wine. And I had to kind of laugh a little bit because I looked at my man and I said, I'm going to get fucked up right now. And he laughed with me. It was a 4 pack that I grabbed. But then a little bit of me was like, just get that other one just in case it doesn't do the trick. But we were both laughing, and it was because I'm not wrong. My husband and I both knew that I only need a few little sips to do the trick. One would think I would be immune to just about anything and everything. Not only did I grow up on a farm with zero access to those cute little hand sanitizer pumps you see everywhere, but I also have alcoholism flowing through my veins. In my amazing genes, I have alcoholism. Yay! No shit. My grandpa was asked to watch me when I was about 3 months old ish for just a few minutes so that my mom could run to the gas station. And it was only a couple blocks away. And in that time that my mom had gone, she had came back just in time to see me take my very first sip of beer. My grandpa literally filled my bottle with beer because I started to whine, and he did not like babies that whined. So, hell, my grandpa wasn't even the only one that had a love relationship to alcohol, or with alcohol, I should say. His whole family did. I mean, I shit you not. He had a brother, right, that was drinking at the bar, and he was drinking and drinking all night. And then all of a sudden he just fell down. They called 911, and he was pronounced dead at the bar. They brought him to the hospital, and then all of a sudden he came back to life. He refused any kind of service, and this was back way a long time ago. But he refused service, was brought home. He took a few hour nap, woke up, decided to go back to the bar, and when he walked into that bar, everyone that was there before stopped dead in their tracks and thought they were looking at a ghost. And he's like, what? I'm not gonna die. And then threw a party and drank himself to death that night. He literally fell again at that bar and died. I should not laugh, but that is one hell of a way to go. Die at the bar, come back to life, show up, see the same people, throw a party because you didn't die, and boom, die again. That is what is in my genes. So, with that all being said, the mystery behind my very, very low tolerance to everything, including stupidity, will remain unsolved. But I'm good with being known as a cheap date. All I need in life is a 4 pack of cheap wine. And I say 4 pack because I like those little itty bitty bottles where you can just dump just enough. The whole bottle goes just into that glass. So it's 4 glasses of wine in that little cheap wine. So I need my 4 pack of cheap wine, my wine glass that I happen to have won from a raffle, my amazing lawn chair my husband got me for Mother's Day last year, and my pit bull. My pitbull and I will sit there and talk shit to each other or to someone else while I'm drinking. That's what I call high class trailer trash. So alcohol and I, we don't mix well, as I'm already pointing out. I already tell it's like I already tell it like it is, and then if you just add the alcohol, I tend to actually turn into that overly blunt, brutally honest person, also known as an asshole. But I'm already that without the alcohol. So it just intensifies. And that's why I never really drank much. So one day, I had an amazing idea. Mind you, my amazing ideas aren't always amazing. But I am the only one that will admit to that. I refuse to listen to anybody else tell me that my amazing ideas are shit. So when my husband goes, I hear him going, oh, yes, honey. Yes, that is an amazing idea. I never hear him go, So my amazing idea was marijuana. My stepson was smoking it at the time, and I had heard through the grapevine that marijuana can help people with mental illness. So, me being on all the medicine I was at the time, I wanted to get off of it. And so I thought, I am going to give this a shot. I am going to ask my stepson to smoke marijuana with me. I did get the okay from my husband, I think. Actually, I don't think I did. Honey, if you're hearing this, let me know and I'll edit it maybe. Either way, I asked my son Jordan. He was like, what? Oh my God. I have been literally waiting for this my entire life. And now looking back at it, he wasn't wrong either. I would not, even though the story I'm going to tell is not all great, I promise you, it is something I look back on a lot and giggle and laugh and then go, what the fuck was I thinking? So let me get into it. Jordan and I decided to do it one day and smoke marijuana. Not do it. That's gross. Anyway, we went and he got some marijuana. We left our house with his mom, Jill, who lived with us, my sister wife, my best friend. She stayed at home with the children that were there. And Jordan and I took a drive. I don't know why, but Jordan chose a park. This is a big question mark on Jordan's part. Maybe he was just like overly excited. I don't know. But he chose a park to like roll a blunt, I guess. I don't know much about marijuana, guys. I'm just going to throw that out there. But I don't know if you call it a blunt. I think it's a blunt. Anyway, so he was rolling whatever, a joint. I don't know. I have never done it before, but I do know that I was staring at kids playing in the park and then also this odd looking character in the van next to us. Kind of like a creeper. He was just staring there watching kids. But with my little reflection here, he could have been probably stoned off his ass too. It was New London. Who knows? Either way, I'm watching Jordan and he's like shaking. He's nervous, which I thought was maybe because we were at a park, but he kept saying, I just can't believe I'm doing this, you know, with you, like, so excited but nervous. And I'm like, I got this. I can't wait. And I really couldn't. I really wanted to get off of the medication, feel somewhat like a person, and then maybe be a better mom. But now, mind you, smoking marijuana with your stepson isn't a good choice for being a good mom. But I have no fucks to give, okay? None. I don't care. Either way, he rolls it. And then all of a sudden, he tells me this rule that I've seen on TV. I've heard people say, you know, puff, puff, pass. Now, I was a smoker at a very young age. So my puff, puff isn't a little, it's like, And he didn't tell me how long I was supposed to drag or how long I was not supposed to drag from this this joint. So when I puffed and passed, he was like, "Holy shit, slow down." And he started driving. I looked at him after my first round of puff pass, and I was like, "Do you want me to drive?" Because I really, I was the mom in this situation. I was the adult. Oh. And he's like, "No, I will do it. I've done it before." I'm like, "Shame on you. Are you sure?" And I felt really good. Like, but at the same time, I'm like, "Jordan, I don't know what you're giving me here, but this is not working for me. This shit's not working." And sorry. And then he goes, "No, you gotta do it again." So I do it again. Puff, pass. Then I look out the window. And then I cannot explain how I felt really, but it was like I was floating, yet I felt heavy. In my mind, I was saying things, all kinds of things, but my mouth was not moving. I saw everything in slow motion. So all of a sudden, I just looked at Jordan and I thought I had whipped my head really fast, but apparently I did not. Instead, it was like a very slow, real slow turning. And then he looks at me and he goes, "Oh my God, Angie, don't do this." And I'm like, "Jordan." And then I looked at him just as surprised as he looked at me. He's like, "What the fuck?" And then his phone rang. I heard it all. But my mind was thinking, what the hell just happened? In my head, I said, "Jordan." But my mouth did not say Jordan. No, it did not. And that phone call he had gotten while I was trying to figure everything out in my head was that the kids thought that his mom was having a seizure at our house. So we needed to get back home. I'm messed up, clearly. And so is he. So he's like, "Shit." But he got, like, he was the adult in this situation. He was like, "All right, we're going. Angie, you need to stop." So I'm like, "Okay, Jordan." If you don't believe me, you can call him. Anyway, so all of a sudden I realized I might be at, like, I heard seizure when he was saying my mom's having a seizure to me. I heard that word and I must have clung on to it, and very buzzed Angie, just like as he's driving, looks over and goes, "Jordan, I think I'm really fucked up or I'm having a seizure." That's exactly how I sounded. And he's like, "Oh my fucking God, do not." And he's geeking out. It's like, "Stop, here's your vape." And goes and gives me my vape. And he had to literally, as he's driving, thrust it in my hand. And my hand just dropped. The vape was like 100,000 pounds. It just, and I just slowly stared. We almost went into the ditch when that happened. He's like, "I cannot handle you right now." Now, the rest of the drive, I kept trying to talk, but nothing was really coming out. My mind was like, "This shit's good. Whatever this might cure me. This might cure all my problems, but I might have to go to a speech therapist. I'm better off with a speech therapist than getting all those drugs, right?" That's what I thought. But that was also me being super buzzed, and yeah, no. I don't want a speech therapist, nor do I want to ever get buzzed again. Anyway, so we get home, and Jordan looks at me and says, "Angie, this is serious. I need you to stay in the vehicle." I took everything he said seriously. So when he opened up his door, I opened up my door too, and I got the hell out of there. Because my bestie is in there having a seizure or something, and I needed to check it out. But as soon as the kids saw me, they knew something wasn't right. Now, mind you, I did not tell, and Jordan did not tell the other kids what was going on with me or prior to us leaving. So they're like, what's going on with mom? So then they were worried about me as well. Well, I had to be hidden because they ended up having to call 911 for his mother. There was something wrong with her and she needed medical attention. So all while that is happening, all of a sudden, Jordan and my daughter Abigail start walking me to my room. And they're getting me to lay down in my bed. Now, everything that it was feeling all fuzzy and warm and amazing and very slow motion, like, turned into this, like, all of a sudden my whole room became a psych ward. Not what I wanted. Something I feared. I had a very bad experiences at a few of them, so I think that might have played a role in it. I don't know, but all I know is Jordan instantly turned, in my head, into somebody that tried to take advantage of me at a psych ward, and Abby was my doctor. So I am freaking out. I don't want to go to this psych ward. I don't want to. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. And it was like that for a little while. It was scary. But then my husband walked into the room. I don't think he actually knew. Because I remember him saying, like, what's going on, whatever. And my daughter talking to him. And all I saw was this hot guy. I did not recognize him, nor did I recognize anybody else that was in the room. So my very blunt, brutally honest self made an ass of myself to my children. Now, this is where the story gets kind of messy, because I said some very shit things. But in my defense, I also didn't know what the fuck I was doing or where I was or anything, and I was not myself. My kids were apologized to. I will add that too before I go any further. But yeah, so I am hitting on my own husband now at this point. And Jordan had to explain to my husband what happened. And then he's like, great. At this point, my husband had like gone through enough with me. So I felt really bad after the fact, and I still do, that he had to deal with that. But all of a sudden, I have like my kids coming and trying to talk to me, and I didn't know who they were. I had no clue. So I look over at one of my kids and I'm like, who's that fat fuck over there? And they said who it was, and I felt that hurts me. It hurts me that I said that, but I said it. And then my son Garrett took full advantage of this very brutally honest mama that I had become, and then started to interrogate me, asking me all kinds of questions. This little fucker was trying to get me to say things that I shouldn't be saying. And I have to commend him for that, because he was taking full advantage of that. He knew, he understood the assignment, but I didn't, and I failed it miserably because I answered all of his things very stupidly and continued to basically flirt with my husband, not knowing he was my husband. I then later on fell asleep and woke up realizing that I would rather be on psych medicine than go through that again. Yeah, that was fun. But I will say, after the fact, it is now fun every once in a while when my stepson calls to be like, hey, Jordan. I will not take that back ever, because it is a really funny story. But looking back now, I should have known that I couldn't smoke. I mean, years before this happened, before I even met my husband, I would go to bonfires with a few of my friends. And then I called it Amish Girls Gone Wild, because that's what it was. We would have this huge bonfire. And I mean huge, where they had to take like a backhoe and then they put trees in it and everything. To the point where people were actually driving over the bonfire. It was nuts. We were nuts. But then the Amish kids that were near the area, like, snuck out of the house and joined us for this bonfire. And like I said, Amish girls gone wild. I have seen it all. And it ain't pretty. It ain't pretty at all. Girl, get a shaver. You get a shaver. Anyway, so I've had many bonfires at Craigles, but Craigles, he also liked to smoke marijuana. And this was just the time I'm going to talk about now, was just around the time where I had actually fucked up my knee. So I didn't have a job. Like, I lost my job because of it. So why not try it? You know, I don't want it in my system when I'm going to be working, but like, why not try it for the first time? And my first time was not amazing. It was, in fact, terrifying. I was sitting there and Craig was like trying to talk me into it. I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. And next thing you know, the dog that he had that I called Scooby, I don't remember the name that he actually had for his own dog, but I always called it Scooby because it looked like Scooby-Doo. That dog slowly in my mind morphed into this werewolf that was going to attack me. And I was convincing enough through my words. I don't even know how I talked to them. But I looked over at Craigles, and this guy, I shit you not, he's a bigger guy. I love Craigles, by the way. Craigles, if you're listening, I miss you. But he's a bigger guy, and he was like rocking back and forth like, oh my god, Angie's gonna die. Angie's gonna die. Because I thought that this werewolf was going to attack me, and the vehicles were trying to run me over. But they weren't. None of that would happen. The werewolf was Scooby-Doo, who was just laying there, and the vehicles were far enough away. So I had to get carried to a vehicle and brought home. But that's not even where the fun starts and where the fun ends. I could not walk on that leg. So now I had all these steps to go up. And I was high as fuck and I couldn't feel a damn bone. Which felt great at the time because my knee really hurt. But this grand plan was to put me into a sled and help bring me up the steps. And all it ended up doing was bringing me up maybe 1 or 2 steps, and then I fell and hurt myself worse. So, with all that being said, honestly, I should have known better. I cannot smoke the reefer. The reefer is not for this girl. I'd love to say alcohol is not for this girl either, but I'm not going to say that because I like my cheap wine. So, my amazing idea now in life is I would rather sip my wine and talk shit with my pit bull in my trailer park yard. The end. Thank you for listening. And if you haven't already, go ahead and check out my Facebook page, Chaotic Harmony, and give her a like. And while you're at it, embrace the weird or the trailer trash and make normal feel boring. Bye.